Hey everybody, it's Sha Blackburn, the LoonWitch here, and welcome to Tarot Chat and Munch. Today is February 4th, 2022, so it's the first Friday of the month of February in the year 2022, and it's time for us to talk about tarot spreads. If you've been following along all through 2021, I talked about each month how you could learn to read the tarot for free, and it was little mini snippets of my 5-week or my 2-day intensive Learn the Tarot with the LoonWitch. And although they weren't the full classes, nor did I give you all the homework that I do when you take a class with me, I think we still had fun, and I hope that there are those of you who followed along and are actively reading the tarot. Today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about tarot spreads. So if you followed along or you've ever taken a class or you've ever bought a tarot deck, you know that every tarot deck comes with a little pamphlet. And inside the little pamphlet, there's some little meanings of the cards, but there's also a tarot spread, at least one, for you to work with. So this is the Celtic Cross spread, and this is the most common tarot spread that people learn and use. And if you followed along with us through 2021, then you learned how to decipher that Celtic Cross tarot spread. But that's all well and good. What if you wanted to use a different tarot spread? There are some great books out there that have different tarot spreads in them that you can adapt and use on your own. But you could also develop your own tarot spread. And I do teach a class, an advanced tarot class, where you can create your own personalized spread. If you've gotten a reading from me, then you know that my readings consist of my personalized spread, which I call the inverted pyramid. And that spread starts out with the broadest part furthest away from me, and it pinpoints everything down to that final outcome. And depending on the length of time that you've booked for a session will depend on how many cards I put into each of those rows before we get down to that final card. When I was developing the spread, it was important to me to think about what does our life look like? How do we see our life, and what do we want to change about that, or how do we want to get information given to us? And that's why I started out with kind of this very broad top, focusing further and further down the more we get into what's really important to us. So I start with several cards along the widest piece of that triangle, and that's the general, this is where you are in your life right now. Then we move into the career. So we move into the career because most of us spend the majority of our life working, or thinking about work, or trying to figure out what we want to do for work, what our life's work is. Then we move down into the relationships, and then most important things you need to know, and then your final outcome. And after that, I kind of add some other cards in a different location to talk about your 6 to 12 month overview, etc., etc. And it can be quite a detailed tarot spread and reading. Now, it's important to know that I've been reading for almost 40 years, and I didn't start out with this tarot spread like in my mind of how it was going to work. It took me some time to understand how the cards spoke to me and how I wanted that spread to look. But what I wanted to do today is I want you to think about if you follow numerology, and let's say you want to see both sides of a situation, right? So numerologically, in Pythagorean numerology, the number 5 is the impartial judge. It's that number that has the soft round bottom and the hard angular top. So it allows you to see both the emotional side of a question and the logical side of a question. And so a 5-card spread could be a really great spread to just use when answering a question, when you need to have all of that information in one spot. And you need to be able to see, well, what are the emotional factors? What are the logical, intellectual factors? And then either how do I feel about it or what's the most logical outcome. And you can do that in 5 cards. So thinking about that, how would your spread look? Would it look like the 5 points on a star? Would it look like one for each corner of a square with the single card in the center? You know, you need to kind of think about what is that visual you want to look at as a reader, and how is it going to speak to you. So let's think about that. We're going to take a little break because I have to stop this video and start a new one. And when I come back, even though you won't see a time difference, it will have been a couple of minutes and you've had time to have a think. Hey everybody, welcome back. So there's your candle in the middle of the video, and you can see my little socks down in the corner. So let's talk about a 5-card reading. Okay, so when you've got your cards out, are you going to lay them out like north, south, east, west, center, and make that your 5-card spread? And if so, we need to think about, why did we lay the north out first? Why did we go north to south and east to west? Why did we put the center card down last? And does it make sense to us? So a lot of times when I'm trying to figure out a new spread, I kind of let spirit just dictate what I'm doing and why I'm doing it this certain way. Okay, so for me, the north is kind of like that deep, restful, peaceful place. And if I lay the north out first, then I'm saying to myself, well, I'm at peace with this idea. Okay, so if I turn the card over, oops, they're all going to be reversed because I was upside down. And then I turn the south over. This is my passion. My passion's not looking so good. And then my east, my west, and then my center. And is my center going to be how I feel about this or my final outcome? You can kind of start to see, like in the north, that star card is almost like a blessing from the universe. So right now we can see if our question was something about our future direction, what's the best outcome for us? Well, or what's the best direction to take, I should say. Well, we can start to see, like here in the north, we feel at peace with where we are. We feel good about where we are. And as we go down to the south, in the south, the thing that fuels us the most is that maybe fear of lack, fear of instability, lack of support. So we have a really interesting combination of cards here. And then in the east is that new idea, new breath, right? So what's the new thing that's coming in? The Lovers. So this could be a new relationship. It could be a new best friend. And then the west is our emotional self or our psychic self. And we have this four of rods, which indicates abundance, celebration, a harvest, a wedding. So it's interesting that east and west are so very connected, right? And in the center, which could be sort of my final outcome or how I feel about this question, we have this 4 of Cups, which is kind of like being emotionally overwhelmed. I can't handle just one more thing, and I'm being offered this one more layer to things. So when you start looking, I'm not going to tell you what my question was, nor am I going to tell you what the answer is. But as you start looking at this spread, you can kind of see how those 4 corners of the box with one card in the middle may give us a different insight to something. Now, that being said, let's change this up a little bit, okay? So if we were to put the card in the center first, right? And then we were to go wait, hold on. So this was card number 1, And then we were to go north, south, east, west, you can start to see how it would look completely different, right? So right now, if this is where I feel I am in the question, I feel like I'm getting divine guidance on something, right? And what is the thing that makes me feel stabilized, or what is the thing that I feel like I need strength and protection around? And that would be that Five of Pentacles. And then what's my passion? My passion is a great relationship, and it's a great relationship that I can see, the idea that it's going to be a relationship with longevity. And the end of that, that card in the West being the Four of Cups says I might feel emotionally overwhelmed right now. So you can see how just the positions of the cards and what the idea of those positions mean, can change how you see the cards in a reading. I hope that this has been helpful for you. I hope that this gives you a little more insight in developing a tarot spread. And if this is something you'd like to dig into more, please feel free to contact me, and let me know. And we can I can get you into one of my classes around it, or we can just do a coaching session around you developing your own spread. All right, that being said, we'll pause again so I can swap the video out to my face, and I will see you soon. Hey everybody, it's Sha again. So I just wanted to wrap up the movie for you, wrap up our little tarot chat and munch. If you feel overwhelmed by the information, that's certainly no problem at all. You can watch it again, take a look at the Celtic Cross spread and see how that pans out. Or just play around with creating your own spread and what does it mean to you. The most important things when creating a tarot spread really are that you understand what you're looking for, and that when you're placing the cards out, you're placing them with the intention of, this is how I feel about the situation. This is what's going to help or hinder me in making a decision. This is how I see my friends and family reacting. This is how the most likely outcome is going to shape up. So once you put intention behind laying the cards down, it doesn't really matter where you're placing them. What matters more is your intention when you're placing the cards. But certainly when you're doing readings for yourself and other people, it's nice to have a pretty aesthetic on the table. All right, so thank you for paying attention through my tarot chat and munch, and I will see you the first Friday in March. Until then, be well.